Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRNAM for Wednesday, April 26th, 2023. And our top story today, the influence of money on athletes. And joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Jacob Norin is a sports marketing intern at Wake Forest University. Jacob, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun conversation for people to hear. And, we always hear about big pro athlete contracts and the money that these athletes make, whether they're in baseball or football. You've actually taken a look, did some research on the influence of money on athletes. What can you tell us? What does some of the research tell you?
So something that I found super interesting during my research is that I actually reached out to college students. I wish I had reached out to professional athletes, but it seemed as if college students' opinions on the influence of money really isn't all that special. It kind of seemed as if people kind of cared, but didn't really care if their favorite athlete left their team or whatever that was. But I definitely found some data that people that watch sports found that money happened to be the number one thing that they thought influenced athletes, as opposed to facilities, coaching, management, the location of a new team, the market size, whatever that might be. But I do wish I had reached out to even college athletes to see what their decisions would have been had they been presented two contracts. Because myself as a college student, if I was presented with the opportunity of Patrick Mahomes type money to leave my team or Tom Brady type money to stay with my team, I'm biasly going to say I'll accept that Tom Brady money to stay with my hometown team. So I wish I had reached out to different people, but nonetheless, it was still super interesting to look into. And if you have any questions about it, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, let's talk about that because a lot has changed. Let's talk about college for a second because a lot has changed with the NCAA. I think now they're allowing endorsement deals. They used to be you went to a school and you were not drafted, but you were signed to go to a school if you were a football player or a baseball player, and you would get like a scholarship. And maybe you would get some stuff under the table. That's not really legal with the NCAA. But now there are endorsements. How motivating are those? I think they're called NIL endorsements. How motivating are those endorsements to people coming into a certain college?
Well, I think they can be extremely motivating. If you look at someone like LeBron James' son, Bronny James, I believe he's expected to make somewhere around $8 million next year. And you look at someone like Angel Reese, she was on the LSU national championship winning team for the women's basketball team. And I think she's expected to make somewhere around $1.5 million. And that right there is more than I think anyone in the WNBA. And that's just from her making NIL deals. So I think they can be extremely motivating. I don't think that players need to go under the table anymore and do certain things to make the money that they deserve off of who they are. I think it's great for the sport because if you look at someone like Johnny Manziel, he could have made so much money in college. And I think he wouldn't have been this way that he was in the NFL had he been handed that money as a college student. But I think it's a really good thing for college sports. I think I think it could teach college students and college athletes possibly how to manage their money, but I also think that they're getting what they deserve.
Yeah, and let's talk about the facilities. And this will be our last question before we go to a commercial break. But how important is it to have like the best? I've watched some of the behind the scenes shows about some of these college programs. And they've got great facilities, great locker rooms, big TV screens. Their feet get massaged before they get put in the cleats. Just kidding there. But how important are those facilities to attracting college students? Or is it more about, hey, I get to build the Jeff Snyder brand at your university, and therefore I'm going to come play for you?
Yeah, so I think facilities are actually extremely important when it comes to college athletics. coming to High Point, our teams haven't been too good my 4 years I've been here, but I did see a massive renovation for our basketball team. They got a brand new stadium, brand new arena. And just from that alone, it's helped our coaching. More coaches have wanted to come here. It's helped with our players. Our team has gotten a little bit better since I've been here. Granted, we are playing in the Big South, which is technically Division I, but we've never been spectacular. And after the renovations, there have been better players that have now transferred to our school or enrolled in our school for sports due to that. And I think that definitely carries over to other schools such as, I don't know, Alabama or LSU or Clemson. Granted, they are powerhouse schools, but their facilities are nothing short of spectacular. So I think facilities play a huge role in athletes wanting to commit somewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you can see what, we'll talk about it on the flip side, but you can see what Coach Prime is doing at Colorado. He's attracted a lot of people. Jacob, as I said, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the influence of money on athletes. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN. Mayhem. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.
Well, Jacob, thanks so much for sticking with us this morning. Really appreciate you hanging around for segment number 2 this morning.
Of course.
All right, Jacob. So it's a brave new world for athletes and in terms of revenue and raising money. And we talked in the previous segment about, you got to have the attractive facilities. All that means you're going to be able to build your brand. Let me take a step back. Do you think that these athletes, and they're kids really, I mean, they're young adults, are they prepared to handle all the money that is coming their way from endorsement deals? If they go do a sponsorship of some type, are they prepared?
I honestly think it depends on the kind of athlete that's receiving these NIL deals. I think that if it's someone with a name as big as Bronny James, I think he's going to have people helping him out. I think he's going to have a management team that's going to help him manage that $7 million he's going to be receiving next year. But when it comes to someone like Angel Reese, who was pretty much unknown until this year, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if she's ever seen money like that. I don't know if athletes that have just kind of come up on the spot have ever seen money like that. So I think that's a little bit harder to predict or say, because money can be a difficult thing for someone my age to handle if they've never had it before. I know if I had that much money, I'd have a difficult time handling it. I think I'd want to buy a new car. I'd want to buy a bunch of new clothes. I'd help my friends out. So I don't know.
I think you bring up a really good point. And let me ask you, I don't know if I would be able to handle that money. I would like to explore that. So if anyone is thinking about needs an endorsement, I don't play any sport. I mean, I just row now. But let me ask you, in terms of your own education at High Point or where you're interning at Wake Forest, do they provide a level of financial literacy education and the ability for you even if you're not getting it, and by the way, I think you should be endorsed for $1 million. You have my endorsement on that. I just can't pay you. But do they provide any type of education for you as a student so that you're prepared? Or did you get any while you were in high school?
No, not in high school, not at all. But in college, I learned how to read income statements, balance sheets, how to use Excel. So I think if I needed to learn how to manage my money, I could. But I also think I could go to school for 10 more years and not learn how to do my taxes or what a 401k is or how to take a mortgage out. So no, I don't think that universities do a good job in terms of teaching you how to manage money. I think that's going to be a road that I cross when the time comes. But I do believe that these college athletes, when they do receive money, either have someone to help them or they don't.
You make a really good point about having a financial advisor and people around you. I think that's important no matter what your income level. Jacob, I want to get this will be our last question. Well, second to last question. How important is it to get the right, you can go to your parents, you can go to a financial advisor. How important is it to vet a decision, whether financial, non-financial, through people that care about you and have your best interests at heart?
I think it's extremely important. I think I'd have no money if my parents didn't raise me the way they did. Growing up, if we ever went to the store and I had asked them to buy me something and they said, no, you can spend your own money on it. Meanwhile, I have my chore money or tooth fairy money, whatever it was. And they said, no, you can spend your own money. I'd be like, oh, if they don't want to spend their money, why should I? And so I don't think that everybody learned lessons like that. So I think having a financial advisor, no matter what age you are, could be extremely crucial and important for your savings and whatever else they might be helping you out with.
Yeah, Jacob. Last question. It's more of a personal question. Right now, you're at High Point University. You're doing you're a marketing specialist intern at Wake Forest. What's the future hold for Jacob Norin? Where are you headed with your studies, and what do you see for yourself in a career?
So
put you on the spot. We're going to put you on the spot. You knew we were going to do this.
No, it's totally okay. Next school year, I will be attending High Point again for my master's in communications and business leadership. And with that, I will be continuing my work at Wake Forest. And after Wake Forest, I hope to move to Europe and work for a soccer team. And past that, I'd love to come back to the States with all that globalized experience, come back here, work for an NFL team, make my way up, and stay in the NFL. I think the NFL is where I would ultimately like to be.
And so would that team be the Ravens, or would you have any, because you're from
Anywhere.
Baltimore, as am I, it would be anywhere?
Yeah, I think it'd be anywhere. I think as I've gotten older, I've always said just the Ravens, but as I've looked into what teams have to offer and the programs they have to offer for people right out of college or whatever that might be, however old you are, I think that any team would work for me, but the Ravens will always have my heart.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Jacob, always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with your studies, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news and lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content, we'll visit our website, and of course, all of our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.